What is up, and welcome to Halo Campaign Evolved. Today we are going over where to find all of the skulls and all of the terminals. There are 42 total skulls and 13 terminals. Quite a bit of things to find. I will have some timestamps included to make it easier to find what you're looking for. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So just as a quick disclaimer, I am playing with gameplay modifiers on, the preset modifiers, so that I am basically invincible and have unlimited ammo, just to make it easier to rush through all the enemies and show you where everything is located, and hopefully not make this video over an hour long. But if you feel like you want to do this in hardcore mode, go ahead and just play it normally. So the first skull is the speed limit skull, and you can find that as soon as you get to take control of Master Chief right at the beginning of Pillar of Autumn. You're going to go over here to this walkway, jump up onto these crates, and then onto the walkway, and then at the back of the walkway is the speed limit skull. The next skull is going to be the Magnified skull. You'll find it after your escort tells you to follow him. It's in here, there's weapon rooms, just on top of the weapon rack right there. The third and final skull for this level is the Perspective Skull, and it can be found just behind keys on the bridge of the Pillar of Autumn. You go over here to like this piloting section where these two guys are. If you drop down into this little observation area here, there is your next skull. The first terminal is going to be just outside of the room where the Covenant were trying to catch you napping. As you leave that room, turn straight around and go through this next door to find the first terminal. The next group of collectibles is going to be on the mission Halo, and it's going to start off with the terminal, which is going to be found as soon as you enter into the cave right after getting in your Warthog. Just come around the corner here, and you'll find this section with like this window. Jump out, jump over onto this, and down on this ledge, you will find the next terminal. It's a matter of perspective as to what's the first and the last skull on this mission, because you can kind of go whichever direction you want to rescue the groups of captured Marines. But I'm going to show you where to get the give and take skull first. So as soon as you leave the cave, you're going to head this way, follow my path. You'll find this little stream. And this big boulder right here to your left, go ahead and jump out of the Warthog. You'll find the skull just floating right here. The next skull is the Floor's Lava Skull, and you can find that one over in the rock slide area. If you come in, go to the very back of the rock slide area, you'll find this little indicator here, the red smoke. There's also, most of the times, a Marine with a sniper rifle here on this little rocky area. You want to go to the rocky area to the right. Go to the very edge. And you can see it right there. You're going to drop down. And there is the Floor's Lava Skull. The next and final skull for the mission Halo is going to be the Grunt Funeral Skull. And it's going to be located next to the Cliff's Edge area where you rescue your group of Marines, on this emitter beam tower right here. Run up to the beam tower. Jump up the side here. And if you turn around, you can see it right up there. So we're going to have to do a grenade jump to get over there. So we'll get into position. Crouch down with your frag grenade. Get that grenade jump. Then you have the Grunt Funeral Skull. Alternatively, you can use the Acrophobia Skull to get this if you're having a hard time with the grenade jump. I will put a time stamp down below as to where that skull's located at. The first skull for the mission, the Truth and Reconciliation, is going to be the Iron Skull. And you're going to find it right after you get to this grav lift section. Run around behind the gravity lift. You have another little tree cactus thing with these flowers on it. If you look just past that, there's the skull right there. Jump down and grab it.
Echo 419 inbound. Clear the drop zone.
The next skull on the Truth and Reconciliation is the Endurance Skull. And in order to get it, you're going to need the Acrophobia Skull, which will be shown and time-stamped down below right now. It's going to be right as you open the door here to let all the Marines in. There's this pillar directly through the door, or behind you, depending on your perspective. And it's going to be up here at the very top of this pillar. The next and final skull in the Truth and Reconciliation is the Foreign Skull, and it's going to be found in this hangar area. It's one of the kind of annoying skulls to get, because you've got to go to the far corner here, and there is this door over here in the back corner that will only open when Covenant come through it. So, you're going to kind of have to camp this area out until this door opens, like it just did there. And you can go in and grab the Foreign Skull back in the corner here. Hopefully you get as lucky as I did. The terminal for the mission, the Truth and Reconciliation, is going to be located in just off of this main area here, where you go into all the different detention cell areas. It's this locked door. In order to get it to unlock, go rescue Captain Keys. So after you rescue Captain Keys, come back through. The door is going to be on your left, and it is unlocked now. Head through that. Deactivate the cells. And it's right over here. And if this video helped you out, go ahead and smash that like button. The Bandana Skull on the Silent Cartographer is going to be located in this cave just to the right of the entrance to the actual facility itself. Go into the cave, and in this lit up area is the skull. The Acrophobia Skull is going to be in the first area where you encounter hunters. After you've dispatched the hunters, go ahead and go around to the side of this hatch. You're going to want to climb up onto the corner here and follow it all the way up to the top, where you will find the Acrophobia Skull. The terminal for this mission is going to be right after you unlock the security lockdown. Instead of turning back around to leave, keep going forward out onto this balcony. And just behind this little structure here is going to be the terminal. The last skull on the Silent Cartographer is going to be the Hipfire Skull. And you're going to find it in the first area once you actually get inside of the facility and fight the hunters. In that area there, before you start climbing down to continue your way, you will find, if you just look over the edge, the skull is just sitting there on the ledge. So, you just need to drop down onto that ledge and pick it up. The first skull on Assault on the Control Room is going to be in this area where you've got the giant icy cavern that you got to cross. Bring the tank with you if you still have it, and go to this left corner where all this ice buildup is. The skull is going to be up there to the right. You can see it from right here. So go ahead, jump out of the tank, and then use the tank as a ladder to get up to the skull. You might also be able to grenade jump up here if you don't have access to the tank, or also you could use the Acrophobia Skull again. The terminal for the level Assault in the Control Room is going to be located in this central Forerunner pillar here. Once you get inside the pillar and get to the middle area here, go up the ramp that leads back outside. There's going to be a active camouflage on your left, and the terminal's going to be on your right. The next skull is going to be the Angry Skull. And you can find that in this area just before you go back into the facility to start climbing up towards the control room again. You'll have like this little pit here with these Forerunner arches. Go to the back arch, climb up on top, and there's going to be the skull sitting there right at the top of the arch. The final skull in the Assault and Control Room is the Cowbell Skull. And you can get that as you're headed towards climbing the ziggurat. Right as soon as you come through the doors where you can hijack a Banshee. Instead of doing that, jump over to the side right here down the center of the ziggurat. There's a little trench. Go down here and there is the Cowbell Skull. The first skull that you're going to come across on 343 Guilty Spark is the Fog Skull. So you're going to come past this crashed dropship and then head over towards the tree that you use as a bridge to get to the next section of the level. Instead of going across that, turn to your left and jump up these rocks. And up here on the top of this little rock here is going to be the Fog Skull. The next skull is the That's Just Wrong Skull, and you're going to get it by killing the cracked out Marine right here.
Stay back! Stay back! You're not turning me into one of those things! I'll blow your brains out! Get away!
Just kill him, and he'll drop a skull. The location for the terminal on 343 Guilty Spark is going to be in the shotgun room. You'll know this room because it's going to be one of the first areas where you're going to pick up shotgun in the level. Just come around this big wall here, and it's just going to be on the other side. The final skull on the mission is the They Come Back skull. What you're going to want to do is go towards this spire in the middle, at the very end of the level. Go right, and then just kind of follow the direction that I take. There's not a lot of real distinguishing landmarks until you come to this downed tree. Jump up onto the tree. And then just follow it up until you get to this big rock on your left. Jump off, and here's your skull.
We are near the index chamber. Follow me.
The first skull you're going to find on the library is the Tilt Skull. And you're going to find it after you come through the first tunnel and first encounter that you have with the Sentinels. Go immediately to your right. Climb up this little pillar, and here will be the skull. The next skull in the library is the Pop Skull, and you'll find it after coming down the first elevator and coming to this section where you'll have another holdout that you'll have to do while you wait for Spark to unlock the door. After he opens the door and the room's been cleared, or alternative if you want to do this before the room's cleared, you'll come back to these little pillar ramp things here. Jump over onto these pillars and then onto that little ledge there for the Pop Skull. The terminal for the library is going to be in the same area where we just got the Pop Skull from. Back there's the ledge we just jumped on to get the Pop Skull. So we go through this door, and Spark wants us to open this terminal. Instead of doing that, get the one next to it. Go through this door. Through this biomass, and you will find the next terminal right here next to this dead Marine. The final skull in the library is going to be the Famine Skull, and you're going to get it after you get to the bottom of the third and final elevator of the mission. Just keep going forward into this area where all these infection forms are coming from. Turn to your left, and you'll find it right here in this pile of biomass. The terminal for the level 2 Betrayals is extremely easy. As soon as you start into the mission, you'll have the Sentinels flying around that you'll have to fight. After you take them out, turn around, go to the back of this control room here, and the terminal is just sitting right here at the back. The first skull on the level of the 2 Betrayals is the Tough Luck Skull, and it is kind of tough to get to. As soon as you leave the control room and come out onto the ziggurat, it's actually going to be right at the top of the ziggurat up there. So there's 2 ways of getting it. You can either get in a Banshee and fly up there, or you can use the Acrophobia skull and fly up there. I'll show you how to do it with the Banshee. Once you've cleared out all the enemies and get the Banshee, just fly back up to the top of that ziggurat tower. You can see the skull right there. Just fly slow, jump out, and grab the skull. Once you get into the canyon, you're going to have these areas that are all covered up with biomass. You're going to want to head over to the other side of these arches here. And over here in this corner of the biomass, you will find the next skull, which is the Black Eye Skull. The final skull for the mission The 2 Betrayals is the Mythic Skull, and it's kind of a process to get. What you're going to want to do is head towards the second phase pulse generator, which is over there, and go to this little middle Forerunner pillar section here. There's going to be a terminal that you can activate. Activate that, and it's going to unlock this door across from the second pulse generator. Let's go through that door. Once you go through this door, there's going to be a couple rooms of very strong enemies that you're going to have to clear out. So go through and get to work. Make sure you kill all of the enemies. This first room has a bunch of Spec Ops Covenant, a lot of grunts with fuel rod cannons, and then elites as well. So make sure you're ready for that. And you have to kill them all, because this is the terminal in the back of the room. It's not activated yet, so I still have some enemies that I need to go find. Now that I've killed all the enemies, the terminal is active. I can use it to open the next door, which is going to take me into a hallway with a bunch of rocket flood. So once again, be prepared for that. Once you've cleared that hallway, it'll take you to the final terminal to open the final door. Through this door, you're going to have a bunch of tank forms and other enemies. Make sure you clear them all out, and when you finish that, you should be able to get the Mythic Skull. Once all the enemies have been cleared out, you can head to the middle of the room to find the Mythic Skull in the middle of one of the pulse generators. To get the first skull in the mission keys, there's a few things we're going to do to make it easier for us, because there is a prerequisite to get to the gravity lift in under 3 minutes to get the skull itself. So go ahead and go from the home screen here, press your start button, go to your gameplay, and access your modifier presets. Doesn't matter which one it is, just choose one preset that you've basically turned everything up to 100, or, you know, in this case, as high as it'll go. And I like to use bottomless clip. This is what I've been doing for this video, just to make things easier to get through all the enemies. Do all that, and then go ahead and start the game, but make sure you are either on heroic or legendary difficulty. And also, do not turn on any of the skulls. As soon as the game starts, just make a run for it. Get to that gravity lift as fast as you possibly can. Once you get to the gravity lift, kill all the enemies with markers over their head, and head up the lift and hold the pickup button.
We should be able to get into the ship's control room from here.
The next skull is the Blind Skull, and to get that, you're going to head towards this vehicle bay where Cortana says, look in the corner, the flood are gathering bodies. Once you get down here, head to that back corner where the bodies are being gathered. Go through this area here where there's a burning wraith and some crates. Go ahead and jump over those crates, head to the back of the room, and in the back corner will be the Blind Skull. The terminal for the mission keys is going to be accessed as soon as you get to the first shuttle bay by jumping down to the bottom, turning immediately around, and going through this door. Clear out the enemies along the way. After you clear out the enemies, where those hunters were, turn to your left towards these locked doors And then there on your left is going to be the terminal. The Pinata skull is the last skull on the mission keys, and in order to get it, you're going to walk up to Proto-Grave Mind keys after the cutscene plays, and you're going to punch him in the back of the head.
This thing is falling apart.
The terminal for the mission Maw is going to be found in the cafeteria, where you first encounter your first set of hunters. Head into the cafeteria, go to the right wall, and you'll find it in between the vending machines. The first skull on the mission, the Maw, is going to be Stowed Reload, and it's going to be found here in the cryo chamber over in the left side of the room. You can see it right there. Head up the destroyed catwalk here, jump onto the struts, and over to the skull. The next skull on the Maw is the Boom Skull, and it's going to be in the engine room. If you go to the right side of the engine room where you enter, you'll actually see it up there. And in order to get to it, we're going to get to the second level and jump across to that platform and then down onto the next platform to pick it up. So we've made it to the second level. Let's jump our way over to the skull. The final skull for the mission, the Maw, is the Thunderstorm Skull. And it's pretty close to the beginning of the Warthog run. So just jump into Warthog and follow this route. Marked with that red light. Go ahead and head in here. And it's off to your right. The first skull in the mission boarding action is going to be found right after you kill the first pair of hunters that you encounter in the hangar area. Go past that into the other side of the hangar where Johnson came from. And just follow this path back down to the hangar. And you'll find the skull right here overlooking the hangar bay. The next skull, Johnny Ammoseed, is going to be found in this first white and gold Covenant room that you come into. It's going to be on the very top floor up there. So if you have the Acrophobia skull, you can just fly up there and pick it up. Otherwise, in order to get it, you're going to have to fight through some enemies until you get to the elite training room. So if you didn't have the Acrophobia skull, once you clear out the elite training room area, go ahead and head up the side here to the second level. And then just follow this back. There's the Johnny Ammoseed skull. And down there is where we entered into this area from. The last and final skull for the mission boarding action is going to be Leadhead. And in order to get this skull, it's going to have to go through that locked door on the left here in this grav lift area where Johnson's going to have to activate it to reverse the direction of the lift. The door's only going to open once the Covenant come through it. So defeat all of the enemies and then head through the door. The terminal for the mission boarding action is going to be at the top of this lift where we just got the Leadhead skull. We'll jump into the lift. As soon as you get up the lift, turn around and go to the door on the right, where you'll find the terminal bolted to the wall. The Recession skull is the first skull you can get on the mission, The Most Dangerous Game. And you're going to be able to get that in this area here where you have the bridge that you have to cross and the wraith that's on the other side. If you turn around and look at this little area, these two pillars that have fusion coils up top that are on fire. If you shoot those two fusion coils, it's going to open that locked door. If you run inside there, you will find the Recession Skull. The terminal for the level The Most Dangerous Game is going to be found just on the opposite wall of this area here where we have all the brute shipping pods. You turn around and go through this door directly behind you. You will find it sitting here on top of some UNSC crates. In order to get the Temperamental Skull, you have to drop the shields of the elite high-value target 3 times throughout different encounters in this mission. The first encounter is going to be when you come to this area with the jackal snipers up in the trees. Head over to the right and you'll find him right there. Shoot him until his shields drop. Let him walk off. And you'll find him in the next area again. For the next encounter, it might be easier, instead of going through the doors right after that sniper section, to go back up to where you first encountered the elite. And there's going to be a jackal sniper up here on the ledge. You can grab his sniper and use to drop the shields on the next encounter. The next place you're going to encounter him is right there at the exit door. After you've cleared some enemies, you can run to the center bridge here. And you can see him hanging out here in the back. Go ahead and take down his shields again. He'll run off for a second time. The final encounter with the high-value target elite is going to be just after the brute shipping container room and just after you get the terminal. The next area, if you go outside and look over to your left, you will see him once again. Drop his shields one more time. After you've cleared out all the enemies in the area, head up to this pillar here in the middle, and you'll find the Temperamental Skull hanging out in the beam in the middle of the pillar. So you can get to the Ghost Skull right after this Banshee section. After defeating the Banshees and coming into this next area, you'll have some enemies in here that you can clear out. The Ghost Skull is going to be up here on top of this pillar in the flame. You can try grenade jumping. I did manage to make it pretty close, but it's going to be a lot easier if you just have the Acrophobia skull, so you can just fly up here and pick it up. The first skull on the mission Heavy Burden is the Eye Patch Skull, and you'll find it just on the opposite platform of this main bridge area, which is where you'll come to just a few rooms after you first encounter some hunters. Go through this door here, run to the back of the bridge, and you'll see the skull right there. Pick it up and you'll have acquired the Eye Patch Skull. The terminal for the mission Heavy Burden can be acquired after clearing out the control room and getting the map data. And then after the cutscene plays, head through these doors in the back. There's a couple series of doors that you'll go through. And just follow this path. And you will find the final terminal right here at the very end. The next skull is the Grunt Birthday Party Skull. And you can find that here on this rock pillar in this really big open 3-story room. What you're going to do is just run over here, drop down to this little platform on the 2nd story, jump on top of the purple flames, and then jump your way over to the rock pillars. For the final skull for this guide and this mission is the Efficient Skull, and it's going to be on the last gondola section here. You just want to jump back here and run to the back corner as fast as you can to grab the Efficient Skull. And with that, that should be all of the skulls and all of the terminal locations in the new Halo campaign Evolved. Hopefully that helped you guys out, helped you find some of those more difficult skulls. Once again, like I said before, all of the timestamps for all the skulls and terminals will be located down in the description below. If this video helped you guys out, please leave me a like and subscribe to the channel for more gaming guides and more gaming content. Thank you guys so much for watching, and with that being said, I'm going to close it out here, and I will see you all in the next one.